Tonight, the latest news from the Oscars. Who got awards, who ate pizza, and the selfie that broke Twitter and the record books, coming up.
Later, details on a violent terrorist attack in China. Nearly 30 are dead and over 100 injured after a mass stabbing. What China is doing next.
But first, new information on the crisis in the Ukraine, what Russia is doing, and how the U.S. plans to help out. Straight ahead.
Welcome to the MCTV Weekly News Update. I'm Bonnie Orr.
And I'm Kevin Bruckner. We have a lot to cover for you this evening, so sit back as we take you across the world and around the block. On Monday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced that the decision to send Russian military troops into the Ukraine was necessary protection for Russian citizens in the country. Among others, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry had interpreted Russia's actions as, quote, an act of aggression and is worried that the situation will escalate into military confrontation. Lavrov has been urging protesters in Kiev to comply with their February 21st agreement to restrain extremist movements and move forward with national unity. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said he would emphasize alternative solutions for Russia in his meeting with Lavrov next week.
As Ukraine battles to stabilize their government, we have new information on the American response. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Kiev today with an offer of $1 million in American loan guarantees. The U.S. is also offering technical finance assistance in the effort to help calm the growing protests and to get their government back online. The U.S. is also becoming very wary of Russian intervention, setting up sanctions to punish Russia if they try to move in. It's interesting how involved we are in Russia, especially after the Olympics.
Yeah, right after the Olympics, I mean, it's something that's supposed to, bring all the countries together and, be the opposite of war and be, peaceful and, good friendly competition, have pride in your country. And,
right.
It's terrible to hear something like this. There's a ton of Ukrainian Americans living in America and, their families. My heart goes out to them. I hope that, we resolve this without too many casualties.
I agree.
North Korea has freed Australian missionary John Short. The 75-year-old was detained last month in Pyongyang after he allegedly passed out Bible verses. The state-run news agency says Short's age played a role in his release. Short's wife says she has been told that her husband arrived in Beijing. North Korea is known for pressuring detainees to make false confessions.
Google is currently under fire by female activist group Spark for having too many dudes in its doodles. Every year, Google honors people and holidays by incorporating their images into the famous Google homepage logo. Spark found that between the years 2010 and 2013, about 83% of over 400 people Google honored were male. Also underrepresented were people of color, who were featured in just 22% of the doodles. Google has acknowledged this problem and is now aiming to equally represent the world community.
That isn't the only internet content under fire this evening. A 29-year-old man has been gypped out of an $80,000 legal settlement thanks to a Facebook post made by his daughter. The man was offered the money after filing an age discrimination complaint with his employer. When his daughter found out, she took it to social media, writing that the company was paying, quote, officially paying for my vacation to Europe this summer, suck it. The news spread fast and the settlement was overturned due to a breach in confidentiality.
Perhaps you're finally planning your spring break getaway. With more winter weather shocking a large part of the U.S., it's tempting to think about a place somewhere warm. Karen K. Fa has tips for saving for a dream vacation in our Consumer Watch.
The snow, the ice, the cold. Winter refuses to release its hold on most of the U.S., leaving many to dream of sunnier skies. And researching a vacation to a dream destination is one way to spend a snow day. According to Smarter Travel, a vacation budget needs to go beyond airfare, hotel, and a rental car. Meals, baggage fees, cab fares, tipping, Wi-Fi and data roaming charges, admission to tourist destinations, and travel insurance are just some of the additional costs to consider. And it's always good to budget for too much rather than come up short. To put more money in the bank toward those costs, trim some extra expenses like the cost of a morning latte, a weekly yoga class, or a dinner out. And think how saving that cash now might mean more fun on vacation later. Bankrate also recommends using a rewards credit card for everyday purchases in the months leading up to a vacation. Using a card that gives points or cash back to pay for things like gas or groceries can cut the cost of hotel rooms and airplane tickets. And use social media to stay motivated toward the goal. Follow the destination's tourism board on Twitter or use Pinterest to pin photos or create possible itineraries of places to see, things to do, and places to dine. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
This weekend at the Oscars, 12 Years a Slave went home with the biggest award of the night, Best Picture. This is the first time in the history of the Oscars that Best Picture has been awarded to the work of an African-American director. Other big winners included Matthew McConaughey for Best Actor and Cate Blanchett for Best Actress. Jared Leto took home the award for Best Supporting Actor, while Lupita Nyong'o was awarded Best Supporting Actress. And let's not forget the selfie that changed the world. Comedic host Ellen DeGeneres posted a picture of herself along with Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, and others. The tweet was retweeted over 2 million times. It crashed the social networking site and was the most retweeted tweet ever. I think it was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed the entire thing. I know some people were probably, a little bit floored that, Leo didn't win Best Actor, but I think Matthew McConaughey was very well deserving of that award.
He did do a great job. I think he was the underdog in the situation, but on the forefront is Ellen and her selfie.
Oh, look at that.
All those people, they came out of nowhere.
It was an excellent selfie. I mean, it started with just Meryl Streep, and then she grabbed Channing Tatum and Jennifer Lawrence, and it became this excellent photo. And then you see Lupita Nyong'o's younger brother over there. No one knew exactly who he was. They were all kind of like, how did he get in there? But I mean, good for him getting in the most retweeted picture ever on Twitter.
Agreed. I wish I was in it. So you know the winners and you saw the tweets, but who delivered that pizza? In case you weren't watching, Edward Marty Rosian, the luckiest pizza man alive, was ushered onto the Oscar stage, handing pizza out to celebrities with Ellen. He was told that the delivery was just for the writers, but when he arrived, Ellen found him and made him follow her. Perhaps the best part was the tip, $1,000, collected in cash inside of Pharrell's famous hat. Fun fact, Big Mama and Papa's Pizza has the world's largest deliverable pizza.
An Avenger is expecting, and a girl is getting animated. Dave Stewart brings you those stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Scarlett Johansson is having a baby. E-Online is reporting the Avengers star and her fiancé are expecting their first child. The two announced their engagement 6 months ago. Johansson was previously married to Ryan Reynolds. They divorced in 2011. Pharrell Williams is making headlines again. The Grammy winner released his second solo album called Girl Monday. It includes the Oscar-nominated song Happy, which Pharrell performed at the Academy Awards show Sunday. And Lena Dunham is getting animated. Archie Comics has announced a collaboration with the girl's creator. Dunham will write a 4-part story for the comic. It's set for release in 2015. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Dave Stewart.
After years of extensive research, the Pfizer and Amgen companies released their findings of a very rare mutation that can reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes by 2/3. These results were surprising because the same ZNT8 mutation showed the opposite effect in tests done on mice and were instead a cause of diabetes in animals. Researchers say it could take up to 10 years to develop a drug that mimics the mutation's effect, and are currently in the process of determining any negative effects the mutation may have. Honestly, I say that we stop bothering with medicine and just hit it where it hurts, and health is where it matters. People need to change their diets.
Right. No, I completely agree. I think that, the testing of animals is a touchy subject for many people, and if it can be done without medicine, which it can, I think that's the route you got to go, because type 2 diabetes, all you have to do, I mean, I know some people are probably more predisposed to it, but, work out, eat healthy, and you should be fine. You should be free of that.
Right. We should treat the cause rather than the disease.
Sure. A rare but hereditary disorder known as retinitis pigmentosa will soon take the eyesight of 12-year-old New Zealand native Louis Corbett. Though the disorder deteriorates the vision over the course of decades, Louis' atypical disease or case will accelerate the effects. After finding out his condition, Louis and his family embarked on an optimistic mission to fill his world with as many beautiful images as possible, including the Grand Canyon, a baseball game, and more. Two of Louis' brothers also had the disease, and his mother is hopeful that this, quote, ocular bucket list will give him the lasting memory he needs to lead a happy, visually impaired life.
Speaking of health, March is National Nutrition Month, a time to rethink some of our eating and spending habits, and that includes how much we dish out at the grocery stores. Holly Furfer takes a look at how we eat right without breaking that college budget.
Eating right on a budget starts with a little planning before you head to the grocery store.
Plan out your meals in advance, make a grocery shopping list, and stick to that list when you're shopping.
And although it may be a little more trouble, double a recipe from time to time so you can freeze part of it for another day. Buying in bulk is often cheaper. Registered dietitians recommend filling half your plate with fruits and veggies, and buying ones that are in season is often cheaper. Fill the other half of your plate with whole grains and lean meats. And if you want to save a little on that meat,
One way to make your meat dollars go further is by adding beans to the mixture, and then you can stretch the meat and actually use less in the same dish.
controlling portion size is another way to help your budget. Experts say if something is in front of us, we tend to eat it, even when we're full. So try using smaller plates. And finally, save going out to eat for special occasions. Dining out is almost always more expensive than cooking your own. And if you get tired of doing all of the work, well, get the kids to help. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
A man who violently stabbed a coworker across the street at St. Francis Hospital is about to see justice. The New Paltz man has been convicted of a second-degree assault and criminal possession of a weapon. He was found guilty by the jury for stabbing a woman in the arms and slashing her face in the kitchen area. The man claims he was under the influence at the time and doesn't remember much of what happened.
To one supermodel, Barbie's impossible body type seems attainable. A self-proclaimed breatharian, Ukrainian Valeria Lukyanova has made it her personal goal to survive on air and light alone. This diet, or lack thereof, will allow her to maintain her striking resemblance to America's favorite doll, which comes from multiple plastic surgeries. However, Lukyanova is not the only breatharian out there. A 65-year-old Seattle woman went 47 days living only on water and tea. Doctors are calling Lukyanova's lifestyle delusional, saying that the laws of biology will eventually catch up with her.
If you're wondering how accurate recent weather forecasts have been, we have some news for you. On Thursday, a Japanese rocket was launched into space with a new satellite called the GPM in its cargo. The GPM, or Global Precipitation Measurement, will provide a detailed look at the Earth, allowing for a more precise measurement of rain and snowfall. It was made by NASA and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and is one of 5 weather satellites that will be launched into orbit in the coming year, 2014. I think this is an excellent addition. I read 5 satellites. That's a pretty high number of satellites. But with the inaccuracy of the weather, sometimes I think this can only benefit everyone.
Definitely, and with Japan's tsunami a few years ago, it would be great if they could predict something like that, save a lot of lives.
Right, because a lot of stuff does occur in those countries over there, similar to that, and just to be able to prepare better for that, would save a lot of lives, I think.
Exactly. It's a good investment for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about what do you think NASA has planned next?
Maybe more high-definition cable. Who knows? We could bounce it off the sun and just get the greatest light ever.
That would be incredible. I definitely can't put it past them.
Well, it sounds like our snow day predictions are going to become a lot more accurate in the near future. Here's Dan Cohen with your weekly highs and lows.
Thank you, guys. Well, Marist students, I'm sure you are sick and tired of this freezing weather and not seeing that beautiful green grass since last fall. As we close in on the halfway mark for this semester, I am also sure that many of you are gearing up for spring break and a little fun in the sun. How about a preview and something to look forward to? Today in Cancun, 85 degrees and 90 in the Bahamas and Jamaica. It was sunny all over the Caribbean. The resorts are ready for you. Are you ready for them? Here in Poughkeepsie, it's been cold out, but luckily for the first time we missed a storm. This is not true for most of the East Coast and even the Midwest. Winter Storm Titan may be remembered for its combination of lightning and hail. We could see here in Oklahoma a bolt accompanied with snow and ice. A car saw 2.5 inches of sleet in Kentucky. Tennessee experienced problem with ice accumulation on trees, resulting in falling limbs. There were plenty of snow got dumped on people as well. Our nation's capital saw its fourth biggest storm in history. Snowfalls reached around a foot in some inland areas. Looking at an almanac, our record highs in 1974 was 76 degrees. Going back even farther, in 1950, it was -7 degrees. So unfortunately, we are well below the average highs and low for this time of the year. The sunrise this morning was at 6:25 a.m. and the sunset was at 5:50. It's a cold one out there for today's forecast. A low of 11 degrees tonight and mostly cloudy skies ahead of us. Tomorrow, we'll warm up a little bit, go to 43 midday with winds blowing from northeast at roughly 5 miles an hour. As for your 7-day forecast, we do have a chance of some snow showers on Thursday, okay? Now, that's going to be followed up by a nice dry and cloudy Friday and Saturday. We will be in the 40s all week, so stay bundled up out there. What I want you to keep an eye on out here is this Sunday, possibly a little snow developing, and as the week goes on, that could get worse. Right now, it looks like light snow, but that could change. That's all we have for you tonight on the weekly highs and lows with Dan Cohen. Back to you guys.
I just heard him say more snow, and that doesn't sit too well with me.
Me neither. You know, we could really use Japan's new satellites right now for some more accuracy.
Sure. What do you think, Dan?
I agree, and I would love to go away for spring break, but I don't get that ability because my parents, they actually go on our website and find out when we're going away, and they book their trips for that point in time. So I got to go home and take care of the dog. So they're going to be going out to the nice sunny area, but I'll be stuck in the snow for a couple more weeks.
Certainly. With Russia mobilizing their troops in the Ukraine, U.S. government officials are looking towards Obama to make an important foreign policy decision to protect American interests. On Sunday, Senator Lindsey Graham brought up concerns when he spoke during the CNN's State of the Union about Obama administration's newly proposed budget. Graham claimed that this budget might leave America unprepared with the smallest Army, Navy, and Air Force since the 1940s. Along with other members of the Senate, Graham has voiced concerns that Obama needs to take action against Putin's plans for the Ukraine instead of just voicing public threats.
In Pakistan this week, at least 11 people have been killed in an attack on a court building. 2 men threw grenades, fired guns, and then blew themselves up at a district court in Islamabad. One of those killed was a judge. It comes just 2 days after Pakistan's Taliban declared a month-long ceasefire, and they've denied responsibility for this attack. Singman Mohsin reports.
Security forces arrive at the scene of the deadliest attack on Pakistan's capital in years. The courthouses were packed, lawyers and locals waiting for justice to be served when gunfire and explosions erupted. I heard the shooting, so I came outside, this man tells me. I saw a man standing right in front of me wielding a gun and shooting. I screamed out to everyone, "Run!" We ran from room to room as he approached us. When he threw the grenade, we ran out onto the street. Arriving on the scene, I filmed this video on my phone as those trapped inside were pulled out. This lawyer shot in the stomach. There were no ambulances on site yet. He was rushed to hospital in a witness's car. This is an upmarket residential area of Islamabad. Foreigners and influential locals live here. The courts are in a market square with hundreds of shops, restaurants and tea rooms. Schools in the area have been shut down. Police have now cordoned off the area. There's also armed police and the anti-terrorist squad on site. This is where the gunmen came rushing through, shooting indiscriminately. These are all offices of various lawyers for the courts, and then they carried out a grenade attack.
everyone who came in there, they started to firing and they hurt lot of persons. There are many casualties in court side, and there were some advocates, liars, lying before us. We have seen them.
Police say 2 of the attackers were wearing suicide vests.
There were 2 suicidal bombers attacker. They exploded themselves inside the court of Mr. Rafaqat Awan, who died, and the other one wanted to explode somewhere in the court, but our people, they engaged him, the anti-terrorist squad, and they hit him, and then he fell down and then exploded.
As a shootout with the anti-terror squad ensued, police say the gunmen threw down their AK-47s and fled the scene. It's not known how many attackers there were. And you can see the extent of the damage. Windows have been blown out, the walls have come down of these offices, and forensic teams are on site right now trying to collect as many clues as possible. Locals still reeling from the assault, wondering why their neighbourhood and this court was targeted, while authorities are on the hunt for answers. Saima Mohsin, CNN, Islamabad, Pakistan.
More violent news is developing in China. Saturday morning in Kunming, a southwest city of China, was anything but peaceful. A mass stabbing at a train station in the area led to 33 deaths and over 100 injuries. One eyewitness account cited 2 attackers armed with long knives running around, quote, hacking whoever was in the way. According to reports, there were at least 10 attackers total. The attack is said to be a part of the separatist movement.
On a lighter note, now that the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics has come to an end, Americans can turn their attention to our favorite pastime, baseball. The Major League Baseball preseason has begun. Teams are reporting to spring training to prepare the 162 games of the regular season. Notably, this season will be the last for Yankee legend Derek Jeter. The 13th-time All-Star and the 5-time World Series champion will be retiring after his 20th season in baseball. The baseball season will unexpectedly begin in Sydney, Australia on March 22nd as the Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. You think that those 2 teams had enough sun, but they just have to go to Australia instead.
Yeah, I don't know quite what the MLB is trying to do here. They must be trying to expand their sport. Of course, it's that's something they're constantly doing. Maybe it's because they feel threatened by football. I don't know if they're quite America's favorite sport anymore, as they were in the past.
Possibly. Well, I'm excited to watch a game in Australia.
I think the Australians will probably be excited too, because it's something they probably haven't seen ever before. So.
Definitely.
It's a boy. Gwen Stefani and Gavin Rossdale welcomed their newest addition to their family on February 28th. Rossdale confirmed that on Twitter that his wife delivered a healthy baby boy named Apollo Bowie Flynn Rossdale, with the 2 middle names paying homage to their mothers. Apollo is Stefani and Rossdale's 3rd son, joining 7-year-old Kingston and 5-year-old Zuma.
Call it the Walking Dead, Mississippi. Walter Williams woke up in a body bag just minutes shy of being embalmed this Friday afternoon. The 78-year-old was taken to Porter Holmes Funeral Home in Lexington by hearse after being pronounced dead Wednesday evening in his home. According to the county coroner Dexter Howard, it seems that Williams' pacemaker had failed, leaving him with no heartbeat. By some miracle, the pacemaker started up again, allowing the man to alarm funeral staff he was alive by kicking furiously from inside the plastic body bag. Looks like Mississippi won't have its shot at being the home of the zombie apocalypse.
The carnival season is in full swing in Brazil. It's a week of feasts, parties, and parades leading up to the final Tuesday before Lent, a Christian period of moderation and sacrifice. Nowhere is better known for its carnival than Rio de Janeiro, and that's where we find CNN's Shasta Darlington.
Turquoise feathers, gyrating hips, and non-stop samba. Carnival at Rio de Janeiro's Sambadrome is hard to beat. So we decided to join in. First, you need a costume. Mine was at a warehouse in Samba City.
This is fantastic. I love it.
It would also cover me from head to foot. Work was far from over at the warehouse for the Grande Rio Samba School, just one day before the parade. The director says each samba school spends $5 million on their parade, and it takes months to prepare. As soon as one carnival ends, you begin working on the next one, he says. Next day, we head to the Sambadrome.
I'm here with CNN producer Barbara. We're headed to the parade. We're going to be out there in just a couple of hours. This is the way a lot of people get to the parade grounds. We, of course, will be going for Grande Rio.
The parade ground is only a few steps away.
I want you, Miguel, to get a good look down there, because in 2 hours' time, we are going to be the stars. 80,000 people cheering us on, bright lights, that 15 minutes of fame right there.
As it gets dark, revelers start to congregate. Manuela sums up the carnival's spirit for us. Carnival is bringing people together regardless of where they come from or who they are, she says. The drums begin.
I wish I knew the song a little better, but it's going to be great.
When we hit the runway in front of the bright lights and cheering crowds, the music takes over. We all sing our hearts out, especially when we pass the judges' boxes. Each samba school parades down the 700-meter strip with hundreds of dancers, drummers, and elaborate floats. They're judged on everything from enthusiasm to presentation to the song itself.
It was absolutely amazing and exhausting. We were dancing for a straight hour, singing for a straight hour. I've lost my voice, but really amazing. Go Grande Rio!
Shasta Darlington, CNN, Rio de Janeiro.
Do you want to build a snowman? Central Minnesota native Greg Novak certainly did. Novak claims he spent hundreds of hours building a snowman that eventually reached a height of 50 feet. The snowman, which Novak named Granddaddy, managed to endure tough weather conditions over 5 weeks. Granddaddy seems small compared to the tallest snowman in history, the 122-foot tall Olympia that was built in 2008 in Bethel, Maine. What an interesting person.
This is incredibly massive. It's not just 50 feet tall, it's probably about 30 to 40 feet wide at its base. I know he said it had taken him a couple months to create, and that's, no one can be surprised about that. When take a look at his nose. That's a garbage can. That's a full-size garbage can up there, and it looks like a tiny little carrot. So
he even put a broom on his arm. Great detail.
It's enormous too. Yeah, I think it's he said he was moving the snow anyway. He might as well have done something fun with it. So
exactly.
I think he made the right decision there for sure.
Interesting. Well, that's all we have for you this week. I'm Bonnie Orr.
And I'm Kevin Bruckner. Make sure to check out our live show next Tuesday, March 11th at 9:30 p.m. And as always, thanks for stopping by.